The station working for you. This is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
Marion County voters can cast their ballots at Lucas Oil Stadium starting at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Good evening to you. I'm Amanda Starantino. The stadium will be open for early voting from 10 to 5 Saturday and Sunday. There will be 56 voting machines there, more than any other site in the county. Now, we've been following this development since this morning after the Marion County Election Board voted in favor of opening the site for early voting. The late addition comes after people waited as long as 7 or 8 hours to vote at some of the other satellite polling places. Political leaders and citizens are applauding the decision.
Giving Lucas Oil the okay to do this, I'm glad they did that in a hurry because, normally they could stretch that out, but they really did. That was a good job. They did a good job.
I have to imagine there are people excited to be able to vote at Lucas Oil Stadium. The voting will not take place on the 50-yard line. It will be in the South Concourse to make it as easy as possible, and free parking and a lot of parking.
A reminder, you can also vote early at the clerk's office in the City County building tomorrow and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 9 p.m. and on Monday from 8 a.m. to noon. And besides Lucas Oil, 5 other satellite voting sites are also open from 10 to 5 this weekend. Those are Craner Park Community Center, Lawrence Township Education and Community Center, Perry Township Government Center, St. Luke's United Methodist Church, and Warren Township Government Center. And if you opted to vote by mail but have not returned your ballot yet, the Postal Service is offering extra help. You can drop off your ballot to a Postal Service employee at the main post office location on South Street in downtown Indianapolis. They will be collecting ballots from 2 to 4 p.m. tomorrow and Sunday, from 3 to 10 p.m. on Monday, and for Marion County voters only from 8 to 10 a.m. on Election Day. WRTV Investigates has learned voters in some counties are being told they cannot change how they vote if they have already requested an absentee ballot. Charlotte Hess of Bloomington applied for an absentee ballot because she is over 65. But she is concerned about lag times involving mail-in ballots, so she decided to vote early in person instead. However, when Charlotte called the Monroe County Election Office, they told her she could not change her mind. At least 2 nonpartisan groups agree Indiana's election statute allows you to vote early in person, even if you previously requested to vote by mail.
You should be able to simply hand your absentee ballot over to the polling place inspector at the early voting location. Tell them you have changed your mind. They will take that ballot from you and allow you to vote in person. We don't need to make voters jump through multiple hoops to exercise their constitutional right to vote.
And you can, the Indiana Election Division and Secretary of State's office interpret the statute differently. They say a voter can vote in person if their original absentee ballot is lost, spoiled, or defective. Also, on Election Day itself, you can surrender your absentee ballot and vote in person. If you want to hand deliver your absentee ballot to your county, just remember it is due by noon on Election Day. And you can read full responses from Monroe County, the Indiana Election Division, and Secretary of State's office in this story on the WRTV app and our website. If you have problems voting, the number for the Election Protection Hotline is 866-OUR-VOTE. And for more answers and resources for voters, go to the Vote in 2020 section of our website, WRTV.com. Now to the forecast, Kyle. It is shaping up to be a nice weekend to vote or participate in safe Halloween activities.
Yeah, Amanda, our Saturday's really looking pretty nice here as we go into the weekend. In fact, the weather across the country is very quiet. I want to start you off with the big picture here. As far as precipitation, we got a few light rain showers there in Montana and North Dakota. That is about it. Temperatures here in central Indiana with those clear skies, they are tumbling back a little bit. We're at 33 now in Greencastle, 37 Martinsville and downtown, and you got 33 on the thermometer in Greenfield. We do have a freeze warning that goes into tomorrow morning from Richmond through Columbus, Seymour, and to the southeast. It's going to be cold everywhere, but the rest of us, the growing season has already come to an end. So tomorrow morning, we start off around the freezing mark, and it stays chilly through 10 a.m. We are still in the 30s. We'll detail a warm-up, though, coming our way in the 7-day planning forecast.
The Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department is updating its procedures when it comes to officers using force, a move that Chief Randall Taylor says will better protect officers and citizens. A new use of force review board will determine whether officers follow department policy when firing a weapon or getting into a physical altercation. The board will be made up of the captain of the IMPD Training Academy, 3 officers, and 5 civilians. The group will review incidents but will not be able to recommend discipline. WRTV's Cornelius Hawker talked with 2 community organizers who hope this new board does lead to more accountability and transparency.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Calls for police accountability rang out in the streets of Indianapolis over the spring and summer. Months later, community organizers say those efforts were not in vain.
I think that it is important for the public to see tangible things that are happening because of the public pressure that they're applying and that have been called for by various social justice organizations.
But Jessica Louise with Indy 10 Black Lives Matter and Matt Davis, co-chair of Indiana Racial Justice Alliance, believe this newly created use of force review board doesn't go far enough in holding police accountable, with a particular focus on IMPD Chief Randall Taylor.
The chief will have the final say over 5 different people that city council and the mayor will be presenting to him. But ultimately, he gets the final say.
The chief of police also is going to have final say over the disciplinary measures that are taken against officers who are engaged in deadly force.
In today's announcement, Chief Taylor, along with the mayor, were both quoted as saying this is another way the police department can build trust between them and the community, offering more transparency. Matt and Jessica are skeptical the use of force review board is going to bring about the change officials say it will.
And honestly, it's a slap in the face, especially after the excessive force that's been used in this year. I know 2020 has been a long year, but that was just May.
But these community organizers are holding out hope something good comes from it.
So it'll be interesting to see how Chief Taylor establishes his legacy with this particular board.
Working for you, Cornelius Hawker, WRTV.
The 5 civilian members of the Use of Force Board will be chosen by the mayor and city county council president. Plans for the board have been in the works since 2017. New details tonight from WRTV Investigates about falsified documentation involving drug tests for the Indiana Department of Child Services. A drug testing company subcontracted by DCS says it has fired 2 employees after an investigation found workers' falsified phone and text documentation related to drug tests. Tomo is based in Missouri but has an office in Indianapolis. Essentially, the workers said they contacted people to drug test when they had not. Tomo is calling it an isolated incident and did not find any tampering with specimens. The Delaware County Public Defender calls the situation horrific and concerning.
It's hugely significant because this has all been reported to judges as they make decisions in cases, and it's false evidence. Now, so that could impact on juvenile delinquency cases, placement of juveniles, including Indiana Boys School at the Department of Corrections.
Kelly Bryan says criminal charges may be in order for the workers who falsified test results. An audit is now underway to determine how many court cases in Indiana may be impacted. And starting Monday, Indiana is sending the National Guard to long-term care facilities that are struggling with COVID-19. More than 400 soldiers trained for the assignment today while at Camp Atterbury. They learned about testing, infection control procedures, visitation protocol, and more. Nursing home residents make up nearly 60% of Indiana's COVID deaths. Guard members and leaders say while this mission is not standard, they are ready and eager to get to work.
I feel good about it. It'll be good to be able to get out there and get in situations and areas that really do need the help. Personally, for my own health and things like that, I'm not concerned. I mean, it's kind of with the job. It's what you do.
Well, one of the things that we recognize is that this is a non-standard mission or a non-standard set of tasks for our soldiers. They don't normally do these things if that's not particularly what they were trained to do in the military. But at the end of the day, they're citizen soldiers.
Indiana National Guard members will work in 133 long-term care facilities starting on Monday. Eventually, they will expand to all of the state's facilities. And the National Guard assignment comes as COVID cases continue to spike statewide. 3,205 new positive cases were reported between October 15th and yesterday. 1,662 COVID patients were in the hospital yesterday. The 7-day positivity rate among unique individuals is 14.6%. And there are 4,050 total deaths since the start of the pandemic. The pandemic is also getting worse in other states and cities. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez reports some are bringing back shutdown restrictions while others worry about overflowing hospitals.
Another grim milestone in the coronavirus pandemic, the U.S. topping 9 million confirmed cases with a record 92,000 cases in just the past 24 hours. The number of hospitalizations and deaths also climbing.
They die alone. They get the treatment alone. So we ask very much so for your help.
In Wisconsin, the governor says cases are up by more than 500% in the past 2 months. Health officials there warning their hospitals are now just weeks away from running out of ICU beds.
Our COVID unit that has 3 wings, we were using one, we're now using all 3 of them.
Ohio and Illinois have had back-to-back days with record high numbers of new cases.
I have already gotten reports of individuals with both flu and COVID at the same time.
In Chicago, an effort to curb the spread by banning indoor dining facing backlash.
What the governor is doing is killing us.
Pushback in El Paso, Texas, too, after a judge ordered all non-essential businesses to shut down for 2 weeks. Police refusing to enforce the order.
We also have 32,000 El Pasoans out of work. People are trying to put food on their table and pay for their own health care.
Emergency alerts about the threat of COVID-19 going out in Utah and New Mexico. Florida surpassing 4,000 new cases a day for the 4th consecutive day. And in Georgia, Governor Brian Kemp and his wife testing negative, but now in quarantine after being exposed to someone who tested positive for COVID-19. Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
Studies have shown that this demand is going to increase. However, there are fewer people getting into EMS, which is creating kind of a shortage amongst EMS professionals.
Coming up, a local company is offering a program to address that shortage, how it benefits the company and trainees. And high school football sectionals continue. The WRTV sports team will show you who's moving on and whose season ended tonight. Well, some babies are spending their first Halloween in the hospital, so staff members are helping families make the holiday a little brighter. This afternoon, Peyton Manning Children's Hospital invited parents and guests to participate in a NICU patient costume party. And if you're wondering how they found costumes so small, families were encouraged to use baby doll or Build-A-Bear outfits, and they all look so sweet, so creative. Little Wonder Women right there. So cute, Kyle.
Yeah, looking good there, celebrating their first Halloween. And Amanda, you might have noticed with those clear skies tonight, the nearly full moon in the sky. Now, it is going to be full for Halloween night, and that doesn't happen very often. Last time was in 1955. Next time, you're going to have to wait until 2039. And it's also a blue moon. It's not technically going to look blue out there, but the reason for that is because it's the second full moon of the month. The first one was on October 1st. Out there tonight, we've got clear skies, and that's allowing those temperatures to fall off. We're at 37 in Indy, 34 in Kokomo, Bloomington at 33. With those fairly light winds, temperatures will drop back into the upper 20s here around Peru, Kokomo, 29 in Lafayette, and 32 Indianapolis and Bloomington. So right around that freezing mark, but it is not the coldest night coming our way in the 7-day forecast. That will actually come up on Monday morning when we drop down to 26. Cold, but not a record. That's a full 10 degrees colder at 16. That record set back in the early 1950s. But chilly enough here as we go into the weekend. Saturday morning, we will keep numbers in the 30s right through 10 o'clock in the morning. Lots of sunshine to get the day started here, and we will carry that through to the afternoon. Temperatures will do a few degrees warmer than what we had today. We topped out at 50 in Indianapolis tomorrow, middle 50s for that afternoon high. Again, we should be about 5 degrees warmer than that here as as we round out the month of October. 56 for you in Muncie, 58 in Lafayette, and close to 60 in Bloomington. If you do have some Halloween evening plans, here's a look. Not bad. Last year on Halloween, we had a trace of snow. Not going to have that this time around, though, with temperatures around 50 degrees. A little bit of a south breeze at 10 miles per hour, but it will come with those clear skies for us. Clouds will be increasing as we go through the night. And of course, Saturday night, don't forget to set those clocks back. A lot of them do it themselves at this point, but you'll at least get that extra hour of sleep going into Sunday morning. Also coming our way overnight Saturday into Sunday is a weather system. Might bring an isolated shower into some northeastern communities very early into the Sunday morning hours, but really the bigger story here will be about temperatures and wind. On Sunday, we're going to have those steady winds out of the northwest around 15 to 20 miles per hour. And I think we will see consistent gusts around 35 miles per hour. So it will be windy throughout the day, and that will take temperatures that start off Sunday in the middle 40s. They'll fall back to around 40 degrees into the afternoon. That 7-day planning forecast remains cool on Monday after that cold start at 26. But then we do start to moderate a little bit as we get into Election Day. Highs approaching 60. And then the second half of that forecast looking very nice. Highs in the middle to upper 60s, all dry through the next 7 days, Amanda.
All right, thank you, Kyle. And it was some fans were bundled up around the area for high school football tonight, the second week of state tournament games. Brad Brown has a look at a couple of Central Indiana's top teams.
Bishop Chatard spent the entire season ranked #1 in Class 3A. They opened the tourney in the top spot and looked every bit like a state title contender on Friday night against Guerin Catholic. A strong dose of Tommy Hannon running the ball in the first half. Hannon keeps the legs churning down near the goal line. Eventually, that work would pay off for the Trojans' first score of the game. Guerin marched right back down the field and scored before the end of the opening quarter. Jagger Albert slips through a seam in the line and into the end zone. The game was even 7-all after the first 12 minutes. Chatard got it going in the second frame. Carter St. John goes up top and finds Noah Carter wide open in the end zone for 6 as the Trojans regain the lead. Next drive, more of their ground game. This time it's Matthew Coons with the longest run of the night, and it may have been the fastest as well. 50 yards later, he's in for 6. Chatard rolls to the 42-7 win. They'll take on Brebeuf in next week's sectional title game. Danville made a trip into the city to face Cardinal Ritter. The Warriors dominated this game from the start. Cale Payne's TD toss to Luke Wooten was Wooten's second score of the night. Danville led 24-0 at halftime. They finish off the shutout with a 38-0 final. They'll take a perfect 8-0 record into the sectional finals against county rival Tri-West. The Class 6A sectionals got underway tonight. Here's a look at some first-round scores. Brownsburg kicked a field goal with 9 seconds left to beat Avon. Fishers came from behind to beat rival HSE. LN with a big win over LC. And top-ranked Center Grove rolled to a win in Columbus. All of tonight's winners will play for sectional championships next Friday. Dave Marin continues our Week 11 coverage.
New Pile hosting the Franklin Grizzly Cubs. This one a defensive battle early. Dragons' Noah Mack with the sack on Reed Roberts. Then Franklin's D steps up with these back-to-back sacks by Jacob Wagner and Harris Eason. Second quarter, Reed Roberts would find Max Lancer for the touchdown. Extra point blocked, 6-0 Franklin. They would add another score as John Shepard would break it through, add the 2 points in a 14-0 lead. But the Dragons would catch fire in the second half, scoring 28 points, including the game-winning touchdown with just 17 seconds to go. New Pal comes back to win this one, 31-27. Over to Beech Grove as Roncalli had no problem finding the end zone tonight. Late second quarter, Aiden Leffler finds Byron Hubler for the touchdown and a 50-7 halftime lead. They would open the second half with more of the same. Luke Hansen, the big pickup here. A few plays later, Lucas Erickson would walk it in for the touchdown. Roncalli, the 57-70 win over Beech Grove tonight. Dave Marin, WRTV Sports.
We've got a college football triple header Saturday on WRTV. It starts with top-ranked Clemson taking on Boston College at noon. Notre Dame is in action at Georgia Tech. That one's at 3:30. And Big Ten action in primetime. Ohio State traveling to Penn State at 7:30. It's all followed by the news at 11. Tonight's edition of the News at 11 continues after one more break.
from the station working for you. This is WRTV News at 11, streaming now.
If you're looking for a new job or to make a career change, Hiring Hoosiers is connecting you to opportunities. Careers in emergency medicine are being launched inside a former industrial building on the east side of Indianapolis. Seals Ambulance Services is headquartered on Roosevelt Avenue near Mass Ave in Rural. Most of the company's work involves transferring hospital patients home or to other medical facilities. But being an emergency medical technician can be an emotional job, making it difficult for the industry to find workers.
You see a lot of tough stuff. So you got to be able to tolerate seeing that and being able to help others, because you see people at their worst times.
19-year-old Anthony Wheat is part of a SEALS training program that's helping address the shortage. Applicants can become an EMT in 8 weeks while getting paid to learn.
We pay for the tuition, testing fees, and any course materials. They are also considered a full-time employee of the company. They are given what's called a training wage, and they're also eligible for full-time benefits.
When training is over, students must take state and national exams. Starting pay for EMTs is about $30,000 per year, plus overtime, and the position is often a stepping stone to other careers in healthcare. For more info, go to hiringhoosiers.com. A company called Handshake, sometimes referred to as LinkedIn for college students, is expanding to include community colleges. Scripps reporter Jessica Perez explains how the resource works.
We really feel like our role is to identify what jobs are available right now for students that they can apply and be working while going to school, and what are the future jobs that we need to be preparing students for.
Dr. Shauna Jackson is the president of Nashville State Community College in Tennessee. She says students are battling so much right now, including choosing between having to work and go to school. Dr. Jackson is hoping an $80 million investment in the company Handshake to help expand job recruitment to community colleges will help.
We actually already have 70 community colleges that have already signed on to be early pilot partners with us. So we're really learning from them. We're listening to them. We've started a mini advisory group with this population so that we can continue to ascertain what are the biggest pain points, what are the areas of need for these students.
Handshake helps connect students with employers through career fairs, job postings, and other services, and previously only worked with four-year universities. VP of Higher Education and Student Success Christine Cruz Vergara says they're working with state systems throughout the country to connect with technical and community colleges.
It'll be a really similar experience. It'll all be part of one network, and that's actually why it's a huge benefit to community colleges. So we know from some of our biggest employers that they want to recruit two-year talent. They don't see two-year talent as different from four-year talent for internships or for jobs. They simply have a number of different types of roles and positions that are available to all types of students.
Hoping to bring new recruitment benefits to students.
The tools that something like this provides really enhances their opportunity to cast a wider net. And then they can decide which job offer they want to say yes to instead of maybe taking the first one they hear about.
Dr. Jackson says more employers are realizing the value of an associate's degree and the technical skills it can often provide, especially in today's economy. I'm Jessica Paris reporting.
Saturday may start chilly, but it is still our pick of the weekend with lots of sunshine. You'll need the sunglasses and the jacket tomorrow. We'll make it into the middle 50s, a little bit of a breeze there as we go into the afternoon. A lot of a breeze going into Sunday. We'll have those wind gusts around 35 miles per hour with partly sunny skies. Again, that's going to drive down those temperatures, but it's only temporary. Big time warm up with highs in the 60s by the middle of next week.
Thanks for making WRTV your choice for news. Have a safe weekend. Happy Halloween.